What's up, everybody? What's up? Thanks
What
for
up? What
rolling up
up?
and showing up today. We're super excited about today. Happy International Women's Day, everybody. You're about to get highly educated with the Cannabis Closet podcast with Canna Queen and MJ. This is an adult content show with no limitations on subject, language, or actions. Opinions, views, and expressions may or may not be that of the host, their guests, or their subsidiaries. Please note we are not medical physicians or attorneys, and any information that is shared is solely based on our knowledge, our personal research, etc. Thanks for rolling up and showing up today, everybody. What's up?
What up? What up?
Let me light this again.
I'm like, I don't know what is going on with, but I can't get the window out of there. It's annoying me. Anyway,
That is not a
what
technical
up?
difficulty, but rather like a human
Sensory
error
visual. Yeah, it's
situation.
my sensory visual issue.
Right, right. How are you today? How was your day?
It was good. I mean, it went by quickly. I don't really know what I did. I mean, I
You
got the
talked to me
show.
all day. I don't even know
I
why
t-
I asked you that question.
I talked to you all
You
day. I
did.
got
You
the
really
show
did.
set up. I got some other emails done. But I ate food.
Oh,
Um,
congratulations. That was a good one.
it was. Of course, walking lady and such. But that's it. And it just flew by. And here we are. It's 4:20 and
It
happy
did
June.
fly by. I drove all day, but it did fly by. It was very fast.
Yeah, even when you're like, okay, I'll be there at this time, like, and
I
then you're like, I'm here. I was like,
I thought I was going to
wow,
be cutting it
what?
super super close, but I wasn't at all. I wasn't at all. I had like 2 hours to kind of just
Yeah,
take a breath.
yeah,
A little bit,
that was
not quite 2 hours, but still. Yeah, just to take a breath.
still enough. At least
Yeah.
you didn't have to like rush in and rush it,
Set everything
when
back up.
just
Right,
just
right.
rush, period. I've
Can't stand it.
totally not driven all day and run in like, oh my God, put all the
Um
shit together.
so I have to issue an apology because we failed to mention on Monday that Tuesday was an election day in Oklahoma.
Oh
And
yeah.
and and what happens when you have obscure elections in the middle of a month that never has elections and nobody knows about it? Well, some people know about it. Those people probably don't do much with their lives, but I don't know. The vote failed. They did not pass adult use cannabis in Oklahoma.
Was it the only thing up for a vote, or was there
What
anything else on the agenda, like on
Kelly, do you know the answer to that question? I think Kelly will know the answer to
the
that question for sure. Um, I want to say it was the only thing, or they maybe had one other thing. Maybe there was one other thing, but it was just such an obscure thing. They were like, we're setting this for March 7th. I remember we talked about it several months ago. It was the only thing. There were about 400,000 voters. Wow. Okay. So the people who turned out did not want legal cannabis. I don't know. Was there an
only
argument?
thing.
We paid a lot of attention to what was going on in Missouri because we just have so many contacts out there, with so much information. But we didn't really know what was going on with Oklahoma's bill. I mean, I have, if it wasn't a good bill, then congratulations for not passing it.
Right. I mean, we did talk about it a little bit, like
Mhm.
literally a month ago. I think we had
Yeah.
a headline about it. It wasn't super clear what was, but the governor said it was better for the safety of our children.
I bet he
Wow.
allows y'all to sell popsicles with alcohol in them in the summertime.
Right. Thank you, Little Bobby Customs.
Yeah, thank
Happy
you. Hello.
International Women's Day to all of the queens in your world as
Mhm.
well. Um,
Celebrate by pissing off a man today.
Celebrate. Um,
Woo, woo.
I'm like, I did go out in
Not just
public
any
for a
man though,
minute.
just the ones. It's not just any. You don't want to just piss off any man, because I mean, some of y'all out there doing some real shit, but like there are some that I just line them up. So
Unlike, let's see, so we talked about this, and it's on the question, but we do have our guest today, and so we're gonna bring him in a minute on International Women's Day. Hey Anna,
We have
thanks for
we
joining us.
we have a white man on the show today for International Women's Day. It's totally on brand. It's totally on brand.
But
I
this is
promise.
but yes, we promise, and he has been on our show
He has been on
before,
our show
and
before.
so we're honored to have him back. Do we want to get down to business and talk
Yeah.
about why you're with the anger corner? What do we need to smash today?
Let me start with a simple one, and then I'll get into the other one, and I'll try to make it quick. I do want to get Adam on quick. You know, I'm so excited to talk to him today. There's so much. Okay, but why am I mad today? I have two today. So first, I drove to Durango on Monday, and I couldn't use my bank card. It kept being declined. Oh shoot, just knocked that over. My bank card kept being declined. Sorry about that if that was in your ear, by the way. And so I was like, what the fuck? And I kept calling home and and he was like, no, I'm looking at it. There's money there. There's money there. And so finally I hadn't had a chance. I didn't think really, I was just like, maybe it's on a pending hold, or I don't know. I don't know what I thought. Finally had a chance on Tuesday after I visited 12 locations on Tuesday.
Ooh, girl.
I was
job.
on it Tuesday. I was doop. I talked to a lot of people. It was exhausting. I went to bed early. But so on Tuesday, I went to the bank and before I went to the bank, I went to the ATM. I punched in my code and asked for my balance. And it said, please see somebody inside, because they wouldn't even give me my balance when I punched in my code.
You're secure.
Before telling this story, I just want to be clear that I am not a missing person. Okay. I'm not missing. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. So if I'm using my code, like I have my card. Okay. Unless you see me on the news. Okay. Or Dateline, it'll be a dream come true. Write it in my obituary. Okay. Listen. So I go in the bank. And last weekend, as many of you have found out, that I was in Kansas City last week, in Kansas City, Missouri, because I don't make pit stops in Kansas. Okay. It's just bad for me. It would be bad. I don't make pit stops in non-legal states. I just don't do that. It seems like a dangerous thing.
You only stay there as long as necessary.
As long as necessary. Drive through, maybe get gas if I have to. Okay. So I go inside. I say, I can't use my card. She says there's a warm hold on it. If this is a warm hold, I want to know what a hot hold is, because I couldn't even use my PIN code to get into my bank account. I have been banking also with this bank for over 10 years. And there's certain information that is necessary for them to have, or that they request, when you open a bank account, which includes your phone number. And I've had mine for 15 years. I just want y'all to know these things so that you can math, like get it all lined up. So
yeah,
I went to Kansas City, Missouri last weekend. And I stopped at McDonald's on my way out of Kansas City, Missouri, and I bought a sausage with cheese biscuit and a hash brown, and potentially a smoothie, $4 and some change. That's how much it cost. So when I go into the bank on Tuesday, she says warm hold, whatever that means. I don't know. And then she says, it looks like it was a transaction last weekend at a McDonald's. Where like the words were coming out of her mouth and my face was dropping, at a McDonald's in Kansas City, Missouri. So I knew exactly the transaction, everything. I was like, I put myself there. That biscuit was delicious. Okay. So good. It's the last thing I bought. So I was like, what? She goes, it looked suspicious because it was in Missouri. And I go, no, it didn't. Because if you look at my past transactions, I'm always in Missouri. Like,
And all the
always,
transactions that
like,
followed with that.
I've spent $80 on that card in Missouri and they didn't flag it for nothing. For nothing. They didn't, no fucks given. Also, I used that card actually that day for gas of like almost $80. That was not a flagged transaction.
And but the fun part is that when I don't know, just through experiences, is like, but when you actually lose your card or there's transactions that come up against it that are fraudulent, and then they're like, oh well, that's your fault for, and
right. So she goes, I go, well, nobody notified me. She says, well, we usually text you. It looks like we don't have your phone number in here. Well, why not? Whose fault is that? That's not my fault. I gave you my phone number when I opened the stupid account and it has not changed. So that's number one. It irritated shit out of me, but we're good. We're good. But I also would like a definition of a warm hold. If I can't even use my PIN number to access my account, that feels like hot holds to me. That feels hot.
Cold and hot. Then
that feels aggressive.
What's cold and hot?
Yeah, right. That feels super aggressive. That feels like I bought a sausage biscuit and they're like aggressively like, no, that's fraud. Like, I don't think it is. It was delicious. It was delicious. Just a side note, my doctor told me my cholesterol was high. So, just put those together for you.
You're actively working on that.
Eating sausage biscuits and hash browns from McDonald's. Delicious. She said, stop eating fried foods. And I said, I'm from the South. I don't know what to tell you.
Don't know how that correlates.
The second thing that I'm mad about is a little bit more serious to me because, like that shit's fixed, whatever. And I did tell the girl, I was like, cause I was just flat faced. I didn't like yell or nothing like that. That's not necessary, but I just like, huh? And then I go, thank you for helping me. Cause I know like you didn't do this. Like you're just trying to fix my shit. And my face was like, fuck this bank. And I didn't want her to walk away from that fucking interaction like, well, fuck this job. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure she gets enough of that. So yeah. And I liked her sweater. So anyways, that doesn't matter. Aloha. How are you? So the other thing I'm really fucking mad about this because this is such bullshit. And I think that the kids call it quiet firing. And I think this is happening to somebody I know, like actively. So I saw somebody yesterday. I talk about this all the time. You guys might think it's bullshit, but like I read people like a fucking book. Like I already know, even if I act against what I already know. Anyways, I'm in therapy. So I see a friend, friendly acquaintance. We're friendly and we don't hang out. Anyways, doesn't matter. I see this person and you can see on his face, like he's wearing it, and I go, you doing okay? And he's like, I'm making it, whatever. And then he's like, he's just I'm just going to keep it super, anonymous, but he is a disabled, person. And so, he said, I'm going to have to get a second job. And I don't know if I can physically handle that. Right. And I said, oh, well, send me your I said, have you applied at other businesses such as the one that you work in? And are they paying more? And the answers were yes. But they're not hiring, or they're not hiring him. I, don't know. And anyways, so, has been with this company for over 4 years, has never gotten a raise before, ever. I tell him, send your resume. We'll look at it. Let's work it out. It's one of my skill sets. Why not use it? So we're talking later, like on Messenger, whatever. And, they tell me, that they got a raise, the first one in 4 years. But then also at the same time, 10 hours cut from their schedule. That's not a raise. That is a pay decrease. That is a pay cut. That is not a raise.
It's not a raise.
That's fucking disrespectful as fuck. And I feel a little bit like, are you trying to like piss him off enough to make
Push
him
him
quit?
out.
Right. So you don't
Right.
have to pay no unemployment or whatever. What are you doing? Right. And I'm like, why are you loyal right now? Why are you like, don't be loyal, because they don't care about you, because they know you're struggling right now and they just gave you a raise to suffice, but then they cut your hours knowing that you're struggling right now. Like, what? And then it was like, well, I think this person cares about me, but the person above them doesn't care. And I was like, well, then what does it matter? Because your paycheck says nobody cares about you right now. Your hours.
Right. That and again, no justification, no discussion of like why we've cut your hours, like at the same time of why we gave you a raise. Like what's the
hours changed, I guess, for the store, but the only people affected by that change is somebody that was a new hire. By the way, they can hire a new person, and this person. So those are the only people that were affected by the scheduling change. Everybody else gets to keep their hours. It's crazy to me, right? So I think it's a little bit of that, whatever, this quiet firing bullshit.
It's definitely done a lot, and people just kind of will let it go or whatever. But yeah, it happens. Obviously enough for there to be a term called for it to be called.
Yeah.
But
well, the kids made that up. The kids made up these new words.
I know.
Quiet firing, quiet quitting, like. But it's always been done. Like, the terminology makes sense. It's been always done. They're just naming it. They're calling it something.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Where we were just like, I mean, I guess I'll come in. Like, we were like, and they're like, no, fuck off. I'm not coming in. Right, I asked you for more hours and you said no more hours, and then you called me in on my day off. Fuck off. Like, they're like,
right. Things like that. And or not being able to pick up a shift, or why not an option to go work in another part of the, different aspect of the store, different
right.
or organization.
Just a shameless plug right here. This is what I do, for a living. If you do need a resume review, reach out to me and we'll chat. Nothing's free in this world. Just know that. Okay. This is my business, but I will help you if you need help, because this is what I do. I'm a recruiter, I'm an educator, etc.
You'll do a consultation. You offer
and don't let your fucking employers. Yeah, I'll do you a consultation to start. 970-426-5985. And don't let your employers fucking treat you that way. Are we a dime a dozen, or are they? Okay, because they're all like, nobody wants to work. Well, we'll see.
That's the other thing, is how are you going to, when in this time when at least where I live, it is very hard, employers to one, keep employees, because if the employees aren't happy, they will move along. There is someone else that will hire them doing the same job.
You can only be loyal for so long. You got to pay your fucking bills.
Right.
And also, I want to say too,
a work environment to stay.
I want to say too that this job pays less than $15 an hour. So, like, get the fuck out of there. Like,
how do you survive on that?
This is
especially
business.
In a mountain town. Like,
when they say that to you, this is business, not personal. Okay, well, this is business. I can't fucking struggle with you. This ain't my business. It's your business. You struggle with your business. I'm gonna go make some money and pay my rent. Anyway, so those are the reasons why I'm mad today. I mean, it makes sense. So I actually want to bring Adam in now before we go into our histories.
Yeah, for sure.
Because his input and impacts are amazing.
Yeah.
What's up?
100%.
Hello. How are you?
I'm doing well. Glad to be here. Although, when you asked me to be here, if I had actually realized it was International Women's Day on the day, because we scheduled this a week ago or whatever. Yeah, I don't think I would have been like, let's have somebody else. I didn't even realize what day it was until today.
We didn't either.
We didn't either.
I've had a vagina my whole life and I had no idea.
Yeah.
I even had an article that had it on there. last week, and nope, still didn't
we
register.
celebrated it last year and still again had no idea.
So yeah,
It's
as long
okay.
as okay, good.
So just as I actually want to play a video. I want to play the first video. I want your International Women's Day video. And then if you haven't seen Adam on our show before or seen his TikToks, we'll explain why he's here on International Women's Day, and why it's okay. Did we plan it? No, but is it okay? It is.
Absolutely.
It's 9 seconds. Oh, I think it was a short video. Yeah.
Yes, it's very short. Happy International Women's Day to all women and femme-presenting folk out there. Except for TERFs. You don't get a day anymore. And this is bacon.
I love it. I love it. I love how out in the open you are with everything. So it just makes me happy to have you here. We are going to do our quick history. Well, nothing's quick around here. We're going to do our history corners. And then I'm going to play another clip by you, which is why I was in your comment section, which you may not know why I was in your comment section, like, of that video. I need you to come back on. But there's one specific thing that you say in that video that I'm like, now I want you to come back.
Okay.
So histories. Where do you want to start?
I have a couple things in the histories. The first one, it's just this one we're not going to play or pull anything from, but I love StoryCorps and I talk about it often. And I feel like we need like a Canada Corps or something like that. But it is literally recordings of people and life from every walks of life. And it's kind of like interview style. And so it is our history. And so while I was Googling, it came up with the StoryCorps.org, and they specifically have a whole article with several clips of different historical moments and the people that it's usually a family member or someone that was present there to talk about these individuals and or with them at the same time. So check that out. Do your interneting.
Are they like I think they've been around for a while, right?
I heard about it. Yeah, I mean, at least yes. I heard about it back in Florida.
Because there's Humans of New York that does something similar, but this is like a more historical, right?
This is it's actually stored at the Library of Congress. Nice. Cool. It's all digital recordings, I think. Of course, it's been put into print in ways. But yeah, it's just it's a great way too. So if you have older family members in your life and you don't know your history, start talking to them, because they're the ones that are going to give you firsthand accounts. My sister started doing that with our dad recently, just asking him kind of questions that we never really had answers to or wouldn't have understood them as kids, and so it's a whole
I bet too, if you're not sure what to talk to your parents about, what's up? If you're not sure what to talk to your parents about, you could probably even like Google like good places to start those conversations, because it is important to have those stories passed down. So I like that idea too. I love that.
Yeah.
And I know they've been around for a while.
Yeah, it's been, I mean, at least a couple decades now that I've remembered or always heard that they started doing it. So
I think I heard about them on a podcast or something. Like
yeah, NPR probably.
Yeah, it was actually an NPR podcast. Actually, I do remember it. So that's interesting. Okay. Did you want to? Oh, you were just highlighting that. So
yeah. Okay. There we can pull some of the stories. It just like again, it was more clips and videos. With just a small blurb. So I did pull a list of 10 Black women innovators. We've kind of discussed a couple of them, but there were a couple new ones that I was like, oh, we haven't talked about her. So we can certainly go. And if we have talked about them before, it's all right. We're going to talk about them again.
Okay. My attention. I am sharing the screen right now. I got it pulled up.
Cool. From Yes Magazine.
Yes.
Everything good about your phone. So obviously we are all mostly all of us are attached to our phones. But sorry.
No, I don't want to talk about before call waiting or caller ID.
I know. Go ahead. I know. I was trying to spit out the words. Remember when?
I've been feeling I've been feeling vintage lately, honestly.
Girl, I've felt vintage my whole life, so I don't know these. Especially when
how is our style coming back? And I mean, I know styles recycle like every 30 years or so, so it makes sense. But like right now, I feel very vintage. And also, I know I'm dressed like Clarissa Explains It All or whatever. What's her name? Clueless.
Cher.
I'm wearing Docs today too. So
well, because yes, fashion is cyclical. Everyone, it's influenced by previous 70s was the predecessor to the 90s, if you will. A lot of the things that I was influenced by, and so I don't know. I love seeing some of the things that I don't know. It's easy.
I like this. I like I like to combine the styles. So it's fun to like pull from all of them. And also Gen Z, you didn't invent the skirt, okay? Like you didn't do that.
You didn't invent any
or the bell bottom.
anything.
None of it. Okay.
None of it. Okay. Remember the days before call waiting and caller ID? If you answered yes, you might be old, but you almost might have a great appreciation for the research of Dr. Shirley Jackson. Her work led to those innovations, along with the developments in touch-tone phones, portable fax machines, and the fiber optic cables that make your long-distance phone calls come in crystal clear. She was the first Black woman to earn a doctorate from MIT, the first female president of a major technological institute, and went on to become the first Black woman appointed chair of the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission.
I feel like we have talked about her before, but I love this. This is something I didn't know.
I know she has a longer list of achievements, awards, and appointments that there is a link to. So we'll post this, of course, on our Facebook page and in the show notes if we can. And
this one right here.
Also look it up. Super important. Super important for everybody in the colder.
Makes my hibernation comfortable.
The heater. Alice Parker. She took it upon herself to design a natural gas fueled new and improved heating furnace. This was her design earned a patent in December 1919 and helped give birth to the thermostat and the familiar forced air furnaces in most homes today.
You are amazing.
Thank you, Alice Parker.
I love it.
We've definitely talked about Sarah Good, I feel like. But this was, I don't remember think of her being an inventor. But this one particularly focuses in on space-saving furniture. In 1885.
You guys, I'm obsessed with space-saving furniture. I'm obsessed. You guys watch those?
Just because I like to have a lot of it.
You know what I watch? You know what my it's not a secret anymore. My obsession on TikTok is watching those videos from Asia where they open all of the boxes and they have all this little like cool shit that they take out, and like there's one where she like cuts her hair because her husband is holding her hair, so she cuts her hair, and then she gets up and like makes all this fucking noise opening all these boxes and doing all this shit.
The one you sent me the other day, I was like, how many pairs of slides do they have?
15 or 20 at least.
And two, I mean, in the shower and out of the shower. I was like, I grew up in America. I don't wear slides.
So
for me, I'm like, I don't understand, and that is something I need to be educated on.
I also grew up in America, but I spent 2 years in Japan, and I dated a very anyways, we've all made mistakes. So he had an apartment off base, and so I would stay over there a lot, and it was a lot of that kind of space saving furniture. Everything was so super fucking cool and efficient out there. It's like, and I'm obsessed. I watch it and I remember how cool and efficient it was to live. But you don't wear shoes in there. They don't have carpets. There's just like mats on, or hard floors, or like these matted floors. It's hard to explain, but it's like these matted floors.
Yeah, it's called tatami.
Okay, thank you. See,
Yeah.
It's not hard to explain at all. You just have to know what the fuck you're talking about.
I mean, I grew up in Florida, so I just used to go around barefoot everywhere.
Right.
I walk out to the 100-degree weather on the black and the roads barefoot. I mean, my feet right now. I had a piece of glass one time caught my foot for like a week, and I didn't realize it just because my feet are so calloused that I had no idea that I even had a piece of glass in there. So,
I mean, that would have really helped Bruce Willis in Die Hard.
I know. That's what I thought when I watched it. I was like, that wouldn't bother me
at all.
Yeah.
At all. You know how mad I am at that guy on the airplane for suggesting that? I watch that movie, religiously every year. Of course.
Every Christmas, right? Yeah.
Of course. And every time he's like, take your shoes off and squares it. I was like, boy,
don't do it.
You're gonna get him killed.
Just
on terrorists.
Vegas for my birthday, and it was at the Venetian, and we had them bring room service, and she accidentally dropped a glass on the tile, and it shattered all across part of the room, and in the dining room of the area. I had a big suite, which is pretty cool. But anyway, she tried to sweep it all up, but she's like, "Did I get it all?" And I was just like, "I don't know. Let me try." And I just started moving my foot around the floor, just trying to. I was like, "I'll catch any extra pieces. Don't worry." And yeah, she was cringing, and I was like, "It's fine. Don't worry. It's not gonna make me bleed."
Oh my gosh, crazy. Yeah. So you guys already know, but I used to walk around like that as a kid. I probably had my feet were probably pretty calloused as a kid because I grew up in the South. That's how we did.
Yeah, exactly.
You just went outside with no shoes on. You just did that.
Exactly.
No shoes.
You adapt. It's fine. It was the 80s anyways. So
That's right. We didn't have helmets or seat belts. I mean, whatever.
Okay, so let's see. We're talking about space saving furniture.
Sarah Good and space saving furniture. She was the first African American woman to file a patent in 1885, and they in Chicago, most families Black families didn't buy a lot of furniture because they lived in small homes or apartments, and so she developed a cabinet bed that would fold into a functioning desk, and they have a little picture of that up there. Yeah. It's like a Murphy bed, but more useful. You get to actually utilize it. It's not around today. Wonder where that patent resides.
Yeah, I wonder. There are things that are not like this. It's not a desk and a bed, but they're, you can fold the bed up onto the wall, or like the chairs fold down into cubes and then fit inside of each other, and it's some other thing. There's so much crazy.
There's
innovation. It just, hey, well, you don't have any room, so we're gonna make sure you have what you need and still can function in your house. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, for sure. We definitely talked about Marie Van Britten Brown. She developed the first home security camera video setup, like monitoring.
Mm-hmm.
In 1966, she developed the first Ring cameras, y'all. No, I'm saying
that's it evolved from there, but yeah. I'm like,
Her husband filed a patent for a household closed circuit television security system. So triggered at the front door, image broadcasted.
Yes, Tony Stark.
It's funny. You have anytime a woman says she doesn't need a man, you'll have all these like shitty men show up and be like, well, who's going to protect you, or who's going to blah, blah, blah. It's like, Yeah, well, it wasn't men developing the home security system. It wasn't men who had, the phone that you're saying you're misogynistic bullshit on. Yeah, you didn't invent that either.
Yeah.
Like, because men love to think that they built the entire world because history's always patted them on the back and
but
cupped
also
their balls and said that they
half
did
the
great.
shit you're giving credit for inventing was stolen also.
Yeah, exactly.
Crazies.
Which brings us to our next one, rock and roll. It's always accredited to a man as king of rock and roll, father of rock and roll. But they're highlighting Sister Rosetta Tharpe. She is the godmother of rock and roll. We've definitely spoken about her and her influence on music and
on other artists. Yeah.
The ones that we consider the birthers of rock and roll.
They were influenced by her and not anyway. Yes. Y'all don't want to listen to us.
So Elvis, Little Richard, Johnny Cash, those are all Tharpe led. And I love this picture of her, or the beginning of the video where she's got this, where she's got the choir in the background, and that's just amazing. And so y'all check out this article on our page. We'll have all this.
Right. Yeah. We cannot play that video because it's a YouTube video, but we will link the article to the page. And so, okay, the next one is good because we all know how I feel about my hair.
Lyda D. Newman's invention of the hairbrush. In 1898, she patented her new and improved hairbrush. It kept bristles separate and had slots that kept dirt and hair neatly contained. It had a detachable compartment for easy cleaning. What happened to that? Why
Where's
did that?
Where did that go?
Artificial brushes that she used, or bristles that she used, were similar to the plastic ones used today.
Nice. Thank you.
And that looks like one of those that we would have gotten spanked with in the 80s.
Yeah, they would have beat our ass.
Nice broad base that really enough surface area. Yeah, really gonna hurt. Yeah, basically.
Yeah, for sure. It brings back corporal punishment vibes for sure. She's like, make it big so I can whoop their ass with it too.
That's right.
We've talked about Bridget Biddy Mason before.
I feel like this one also had something though that they didn't talk about, something that she did, or I don't know. Maybe we did. I'm not the person to ask about what we've talked about on the show because
I have no idea.
But we definitely have highlighted Bridget Biddy Mason. She invested money into California and had a whole big thriving business.
I remember we did talk about her. Yeah, she's amazing.
She built rental homes, commercial buildings, and it is now the area that is downtown LA. So good in real estate investment. But it was actually lost 100 years after her death. That's where they actually highlighted her, and she was buried without a tombstone. And so in 1989, her and the church members that she found of the church she founded, they actually, the LA mayor gave her an actual tombstone and declared Biddy Mason Day, November 16th.
Nice.
And so
here we go.
Yeah.
I think we've talked about her too, but
we've definitely talked about Mary Beatrice Davidson Kenner. She developed a lot of products for women that help women get through everyday life.
Women were banished to the yard, like banished to another house, and like dirty when they started their natural menstrual cycle back, like way before any of y'all was even thought of, generations and generations ago. Like women like, you guys, I should have downloaded this video for today. I sent you a video, MJ, earlier this week, I think, where the guy was like talking shit and he was hooked up to one of those machines that like mimics menstrual cramps.
Oh, yes.
And he was talking mad shit and he was like, I could do the dishes. And it was like on the lowest setting and his face, I mean, he was like, oh no, like, what have I gotten myself? He couldn't even like move. He couldn't make the face and move the sponge on the dish at the same time. And it was on the lowest setting. He was on his knees by the highest setting. And he was like, I could do the dishes. And he was just like,
and he was actually mimicking like what he thinks women sound like doing the dishes, with dealing with, women's menstrual issues.
Listen, I believe in bodily autonomy, but I also believe that some people need to experience things in order to understand them better. And so maybe there should be like a week-long class, okay, once a month, where men have to go in and get hooked up to this fucking machine.
It's right. It's like the home ec class that we had in the 90s where you had to do home ec things and
yes, and like carry a baby home and shit.
Yeah.
But they have to work. They have to work an 8-hour day while doing it.
And while doing it, they have to go to they have to go
do their job, whatever job is. Yep.
Yes. Take care of the other children that are around, and yourself.
Yes.
And
absolutely take care of kids, cook dinner just for a week. And here's and you know what? It's still more convenient because you get to pick the week. You pick it. Like you could pick whatever week you want to do it on. We don't get to pick
baby. Not flower baby.
I had an egg baby. I had an egg baby. I didn't have one of them loud ass babies. I had an egg baby.
No.
I saw when the loud ass babies came out, I was like, thank God. And you know what, though? Both egg baby and those loud ass babies in the hallways of my school, no children for me. Thank you. No, thank you. This is too much work.
I mean, if anything, that whole project, it's like, yes, it's a big responsibility. I have to make sure you don't get crushed. I have to make sure to not leave you behind. I have to make sure to.
It taught me a lot. Thank you for this experience. I will never be having it again. I learned my lesson. Thank you for teaching it to me. Oh man. So she actually, Mary Beatrice Davison Kenner actually made the sanitary napkin more sanitary, and she also made it with a sanitary belt.
So the convenience to being able to, yes. She was actually an inventor and invented many things.
Everybody we talk about in our history corners are like
multiple, not just one hit wonders.
Yes, multiple things that they do.
But we can move on to Valerie Thomas. Cool. Yeah. She 3D movies. She is a physicist, inventor, and NASA data analyst. She managed the Landsat program, and which has produced millions of images of Earth. And she was inventing the technology which went on to become the premise for more advanced TV screens and modern 3D technology.
How do y'all feel about 3D movies?
I was gonna say, so she's who we blame for the Avatar nonsense.
Okay, because a little bit. I mean,
terrible Fern Gully ripoff bullshit movies.
Oh my God, Fern Gully!
1000% a Fern Gully ripoff. I never thought of it. 1000. Yeah. So I feel like when you put the glasses on, it kind of gives me a headache.
Yeah, when you wear 3D glasses, does a thing.
Yeah,
like I don't know. I find most of them obnoxious. The only movie that I think was worthwhile, and then because it was just the stunts in your face type of thing, like it was filmed specifically with a 3D camera in mind.
Which movie was it? Because you kind of cut it.
Jackass 3D.
Oh, okay.
And
no, I didn't catch that one.
Yeah, and they had That's when you didn't see Jackass 3D. I mean, the Jackass movies are just some of my favorites, but Jackass 3D, they had a dildo cannon, and so they were shooting those at everybody, like just like full launch, like full like double-sided
Like
dildos
shirts.
launching at people, but then they would shoot them at the camera as well, and it was fantastic. Like people in slow, it was slow motion and 3D, so you just got to see people hit in the face slow motion with a dildo going like 30 miles an hour, and like I feel like that's the peak of cinema right there.
Yeah, I mean. I never really got into Jackass, but mostly because I as I mentioned, I grew up in the South. And so what I was watching on TV, I knew people that were willing to do these things. And I was just like, I can't deal with more of this.
I mean, living in the South is Jackass. I know
it is.
The things
sometimes on meth, but
yeah, right.
Or a lot of beer.
Yeah.
That's at least where I'm from.
Yeah, right. So thank you for creating that craziness. Sometimes 3D is cool, but I feel like it just like gives me a headache. Like it's weird. I don't think my brain, your brain's not wired for that.
It's worth
on
it
the
for
screen
the couple
anyway.
seconds of things that you noticed are 3D or supposed to be in your face. Like I don't like wearing the glasses. I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah. I get that about you. Yeah, I get that about you. It's so funny that I was like, oh, it gives me a headache, and I feel like my brain's not. But then, like, better eyesight comes up the next one, number 10.
Yep, and that's helpful too. Dr. Patricia Bath invented a device that drastically improved the process for removing cataracts. Her laser phaco probe allows for quick and almost painless removal of cataracts and is used around the world. She's the first African-American woman to receive a medical patent and co-founded the American Institute for the Prevention of Blindness.
That's dope because this is a pretty important sense for me. For us, for people. Like everybody feels that way.
She also pioneered the concept of community ophthalmology, a system that increased the amount of eye care available to low income and underserved populations. It's not just we're not entitled to our eye. We are entitled to good eyesight.
Well, no, I mean we're not, because you have to pay for eyeglasses. You have to pay to see if you can't see. Like you have to pay for that sense. It's crazy. And your hearing too. You have to pay to hear if you can't hear.
Yeah.
You would think because, body, but it's not a right.
We should make it a right. It should be.
We should make it a right.
The right to be able to see, hear all 5 senses.
All of them. And your teeth and your eyes and your ears are connected to your body. And so is your brain. And so all of those should be covered under healthcare.
Yes.
Yes, they should.
A little side note.
Well, especially because actually a toothache, like an infected tooth, can kill you. It is more dangerous than many people realize, and yet people don't have no dental care sometimes. But like a bad tooth can give you a stroke. I mean, it can because it's got such direct access to the brain. So it's a major issue.
See, this is what I rant about all the time. I get really mad also, if you didn't know, at what's that commercial where they have the coupons for the
RX.
Good RX or whatever.
Good RX. Yeah.
I can't stand it. I can't stand it. Why? Okay. Why? I'm going to get small tangent and then we'll go back. Why, if my doctor said I need it to live, is it not at least affordable? Free, but affordable, at least.
Or
and
you
why do I have to have a coupon for medicine when I have health insurance?
Affordable.
Say that again.
I said, or you have to have an app to get it affordable. Like if you don't know that there's an app that exists, then you're just going to pay $100. Like my sister had to get in a prescription, and we were like, it was like $200, and my nurse friend was like, well, go to GoodRx and you can get it and she got it for like $10.
Thank you, GoodRx, but like we shouldn't need it. Like we shouldn't.
Yep.
Need
What
it.
makes it? What does make it? And I guess that's the explanation. Is
That's
like
a free
what does make it?
commercial
Why
for
it
GoodRx.
can do it? Why it's available with through them, a discount available through that. But yet, if I just if I didn't use
Somebody
your
add
app,
GoodRx so they can. We want you to come on the show and talk about this. So. Oh man. So okay, I don't want to be off on that tangent forever because we could be. Let's jump into the show. Let's jump into
we can do the women's. We covered women's history there as well.
We should talk about why there's a man on our show today.
Well, wait, you mean like an hour in? You want to finally get into the show?
Yeah, I mean, this is the long show. This is the long show. This show's
We should tell people that, like, if you don't want to join us till 5:20, that's fine.
This show lasts a little longer. So I just want to let me just play this. It's 41-second clip of Adam, and then tell him why he's here too.
Okay.
So I've decided to start making some more content after taking a break, and I'm going to let you dictate what we talk about. So use the comments to ask any question you'd like. Ask anything about dating, relationships, sex, men, why we are the way we are, why some men don't wipe their own butts, toxic masculinity, male privilege, trans rights, biphobia, homophobia, feminism, my beard, whatever you would like. You can ask about me. It doesn't matter. Anything you want to know, go ahead and put it in the comments. And I'm going to pick the best questions and respond to them with video replies, and thereby having content. So let's see what you come up with. And this is bacon.
This is bacon. I love that. That's my favorite part. So I'm kind of obsessed with this subject because I can't believe it's true.
It's the butt one, isn't it?
It is the butt one.
Yeah.
Like the second you said that, I was like, "Can you come on the show?"
Yes.
Is it really happening in like are people really doing this? Like it's not just 5 people doing it, right? It's like
I did an earlier video on it probably about a year and a half ago where I was talking about it, and there were probably 1,000 comments from women saying that they had an ex-boyfriend who didn't wash his ass or didn't even wash anything below his waist because to like wash himself down there would be gay.
I'm sorry.
How do you not?
They would just scrub they would take a quick shower and just let the water run down, and that would be the extent of it.
First of all, we're going to be very clear. These are white men.
Yes, I would say almost exclusively.
Almost exclusively.
Yeah.
If there's anybody that's not a white man in that category, it's an anomaly.
Yes, and they're of course straight men.
And of course they are. And the reason
this is the cis het white man syndrome, also known as crusty ass syndrome.
The reason we know that is because you said they let the water run down their legs.
Right.
Wash your legs.
That's why a good screening tool on dating apps sometimes is to ask a guy if he washes his legs.
How do you wash your body?
Yeah, exactly. Do you use a washcloth?
What is your body washing process?
What's your body washing routine? Yes. Do you use the same washcloth for your ass as you do for your face? And in what order do you
In what order? The order is more important than you, I think. Yeah. But yeah, so there is an entire subsection of cis het white men who are terrified of anything that might mean that they're gay, and they are absolutely so concerned with somehow finding out that they have gay feelings because they're so internally homophobic, and they're so worried about like just what society will think of them because they subscribe to toxic masculinity beliefs to a religious degree that they will not wash their ass, they will not touch their ass, they won't, because if they were to like it, then maybe they'd be gay, and of course then they wouldn't be a real man.
There's nothing wrong with liking a clean ass.
What I'm thinking about right now is Coming to America. So they need would they accept a royal ass washer? But they can't afford one. But right, we know that, right? But in this scenario, if a woman did it, which women do everything for these men already, if they are included in a woman's life, if they have a woman in their life, That woman does everything for this man.
Yes.
I knew that this was okay. I didn't know it was this. That's crazy. But I had seen a TikTok from one of it was like a TikTok. It was like one of those, I think. And I didn't see the original video. What is her name? I can't think of her name right now. But when I do, I'll share it with you guys because you should follow her. She's hilarious. But she trigger, we did the trigger warning, y'all. We did it at the beginning. I'm going to say it again. I've told this story before on the podcast. So this girl, in the story, she is copulating with her man. They're together. They've been together for a couple years. They live together. She has complained about this issue. It's crazy to me. Why are you still there? He doesn't wash his ass. It's gross. There's several stories like this that we've talked about. So I should have maybe known it was more people, but she said when they were done with their intimate experience that she saw something on her leg, and then she thought, did I start my period? Nah, dude. He was sweating. Y'all, just take it away from me. Y'all, that's so. Why are you? I mean,
that's grounds for leaving.
That was the straw that broke the camel's back. Maybe, I don't know. I think she left him. Maybe she should have at that point, but like before that, probably. And I've read like on Reddits where they're like leaving little crumbles in the bed and stuff like that. So it's so. But I thought maybe like a handful of people.
I think it's slowly getting better, maybe as people are becoming more aware of it, but there is still a large portion of men, and I would say in probably that just don't do it, and I think a lot of them are not they don't necessarily subconsciously, like it's not, I don't think they have this like thought process that's gay. It's just they've been like they're so scared of it that they don't even think about it. They're so like just emotionally unintelligent that they don't know how to wipe their own ass. And like I've had stories, I've heard stories from like girlfriends who had like a guy come over, a one night stand, and then when he left, like their sheets were stained from him just like sitting on the bed. And and like how do you even talk to that? I mean, they're never going to talk to that person again. Or just like skid marks in general, how does anybody take off their underwear and look and see that they have like skid marks and and think to themselves, I'm a man? Like how do you have any self pride or just look at yourself in the mirror after that? I don't understand.
I don't either. And how do you get dates?
Yeah.
I don't even know.
How do you have girlfriends like long term?
I feel like that kind of mentality should shine through. But then I also like can see anyways.
Well, I think women will put up with it with something they don't know, and they get tricked into it. Like they they don't realize until it's too late, until you get your nose close to the area and you smell that swamp ass. Then you don't even necessarily know, and then sometimes it'll just be one of those things where you're like, hey, go take a shower before we have sex, and basically that will be the rule, and not, hey, why are you so disgusting? And I don't understand that. I think women should have the standard to be like, listen, go get that stank dick washed.
This is why I'm telling you. Yeah.
I installed a bidet, whatever. Like,
I mean, some people, but they won't use the bidet because the water squirts in their butt. Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. We have not installed them yet or even purchased them, but I've been talking about this since we moved into this house. And then I just visited my friend who has them, who got me like excited about them. And I don't want to live without a bidet.
No, they're amazing. Like I have one in my place here. Yeah. And when I move here, I'll bring a new one. Yeah. They're
amazing. First of all, men, I don't know what you believe in, Jesus or whatever. But whoever you believe in, put your pleasure spot in your asshole. So
that's right. Yeah. So
you're supposed to put things in it.
Don't you want to have fun, men? Don't you like pleasure?
Don't you want to
keep it nice and clean and have fun?
It's like the G spot.
Yeah. It
it's
absolutely
like
is. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, the prostate gland is absolutely like the G spot.
And I mean, in fairness, a lot of us don't know what that feels like either, because y'all
Right.
can't find that either.
That's right. Or they think it's a myth.
Yeah, it's not a myth. It's
No.
there. It's actually quite findable.
Oh yeah, yeah. It is. All you have to do is actually listen,
You just listen and
communicate, and talk to your person, and
just
be in touch with them. Yeah, it's really not that hard.
put your mouth on everything.
That's
and
right.
It's fine.
Yes.
It's fine. But in order for that to go down, you got to wash your asshole.
Can you imagine too that these are the same men that will make jokes about going down on women and like have an issue with a woman when she's on her period and stuff like that, and they're walking around with half a load in their underwear, and it's like, how do you like just? They are absolutely ridiculous.
Oh, it's 4:20 on the West Coast. I was like, why did she go away?
And I don't think I hit it to where so in 9 minutes it's gonna go off again and I'm gonna disappear.
Okay.
Because I tried to do and it wouldn't.
So I mean, the being on your cycle thing is, I think, completely up to the woman, and guys, grow the fuck up. Like, seriously, like, a lot of women don't want any part of it because of different things that they experience during that time. But there are also a lot of women, that love it because that's when I'm peaked. Like, that's when I'm like the most excited about everything happening. So,
well, it's when everything's more sensitive and everything too. But
put a towel down and let's get it. Let's go.
Real men surf the crimson wave. Okay,
there you go.
Say. That's it.
There you go.
No shame. No shame.
And then you throw a towel at his face. I love it. I just couldn't believe it was such a I mean, I guess I should in this world that we live in. Honestly.
I feel like Cosmo did that to us too. Everything was like, no, you have to do it this way. It was very whitewashed and clean, about how you should. And
Cosmo forgot to tell us to use lotion and wash our fucking legs and get in your belly button.
Well, yeah, like Cosmo's like how to please your man, when it should have been like how to convince your man to wash his ass.
Wash his asshole. That should be the next issue.
How to get him to please you? Wash his ass. Yeah.
All I think when I see this is then the answer to my question is, well, no. But I'm like, so they don't masturbate or nothing. They don't touch their shit. Do they masturbate?
I think they'll masturbate too, but I think it's less about washing their junk and more about their asshole. They're worried about being gay by touching their asshole. There are men that are like in that subsect that are in an even weirder, where they won't masturbate either because touching yourself is also gay. But that's a much smaller percentage.
They are very miserable.
That was conditioned. There's something that was put into them that said you will.
If you think washing your butthole is going to make you gay, I have some news for you.
Yeah.
You are gay.
That's the thing, is that's someone repressing something. They are really repressing some thoughts that they've had, and they're really scared of it. Mm-hmm. But the only way that you're gay is if you have sex with another man. Mm-hmm. Like that's it. And even then you might just be bi or pan. You're not even gay then. Exactly. But if you exclusively have sex with men, then you're gay. Washing your ass is not going to do it.
Exactly.
Nope.
But you're never going to get laid because gay men like clean assholes. Is all I'm saying. All I'm saying is,
they require it.
You should not go through life without pleasure, is what I'm saying. And I'm not, as long as it doesn't harm somebody else, you should be able to enjoy whatever you enjoy. And sometimes you should just keep it to your fucking self. But at the end of the day, you only get, I think we get multiple of these, but in this skin, in this time, this is it. So enjoy it as much as you can.
Yeah.
I say to my depression every morning.
And your skid marks cause actual damage to the world. Like, so, you are causing harm to the world with those.
I agree. If it makes me dry heave, it'll probably make me throw up, and that's damaging to my esophagus.
Right. Exactly. Or just, that stank smell. I feel like every person who's ever been with a guy like that that has experienced that smell at some point and been like,
Oh.
what the hell is that? And not understanding. And then you think about what it really is, what's on the other side of that, and you realize how you're only about 6 inches away from some really nasty shit.
You're gonna get pink
Literally.
eye.
Yeah, that's how you get pink eye.
Like a UTI.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
UTIs.
Yeah.
Also, you guys, you don't fuck up her pH, is all I'm saying. That's fucking rude. That's fucking rude. Stop it. So we brought you on today to talk about that, of course, but also the highlight of your channel is, to me, your allyship and calling out misogynists, and just kind of like, I mean, you do this on your podcast too. Dating Kind of Sucks is your podcast. It's on YouTube. Yes,
it's on YouTube and Spotify
and Spotify,
Apple Podcasts,
and all the places. So you guys go check it out. Dating Kind of Sucks. And where you kind of talk about dating a lot of bit. That's your show. But you do on your channel too, like call out a lot of people, like, you do stitches and stuff. You know what you do on your channel, but they don't. Maybe right. They do. So on that Q&A, one of the other questions, I think it was on that Q&A that got asked, was about you personally, and have you ever been like a toxic male in life? And you've talked about it on our show before.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just love how candidly you answered, and I'm just gonna let you kind of go with that about your past, and I just love your accountability. So have at it.
I've always had empathy, and I've always been an empathetic person, but I think I use that empathy to emotionally manipulate and to make things happen that I wanted to happen, and to basically take advantage of people who were vulnerable in that sense. And so I had many years of being kind of, first of all, falling into the nice guy trap of thinking that the friend zone exists and all of that, and thinking that I was entitled to something that I wasn't entitled to. And then otherwise realizing that I could manipulate my way into sex, into relationships, into things without trying, because it was just something I was good at. And eventually realized that I wasn't happy with who I was, that it was not, even though that was something that seemed like to me, like, oh, that's a good thing, it wasn't good. And so then I wrote a whole post about it when the Me Too movement started. I wrote a whole post on my site about how men have, not just men, everybody has things that they've done in the past that they're not proud of.
Oh yes, we talked about this the other day.
Yeah, and it's just, we have to, everybody has, and it's just about what you do with it. How do you have accountability? What do you do with that? Do you do double down and get defensive, or do you actually acknowledge it and move on and try to grow? And so with that, I was trying to talk about the things that I've done that I wasn't proud of. And it really blew up in a way that I had a lot of women tell me that, you're still not a good ally, even though I thought I was.
Right.
So that made me really go through a period of I'm still not somebody that I'm happy with. And so a lot of therapy and self-reflection and listening to the women in my life and the women who are outside of my life, like just outside of my circle too, just listening to more women and taking their word for it and listening to them and not trying to, actually anything, but actually listen and understand what they're saying, has really helped me kind of build my empathy to a level where now I'm somebody who's happy who he sees in the mirror.
I love that you said that you don't actually. I absolutely cannot stand it when I'm trying to explain my personal experience and how I see the world this way, because I've lived in this world and this is what it looks like to me. This is what I've experienced. Well, actually, or like, so you're going to explain to me my experience. Okay. I'm all ears. Let's hear it, or, I've also, the other thing that men do often is, defend, other men's actions, because maybe I caused them.
Right. Playing devil's advocate is
Right.
one of those things that men seem to do all the time. And I always tell them the devil doesn't even need an advocate. Like, if you hear a story about a woman having a bad experience with a man and your first instinct is to try to defend the man rather than the person telling the story, you're a piece of shit. Like
Right.
that's immediately you're being defensive because you've done something just like that, and you were trying to excuse your own behavior. It's
Right.
projection.
Make yourself feel better.
Yep.
Absolutely. Was there you said you wanted to like, you just didn't like the person that you saw in the mirror every day. And this was before your post during the Me Too movement. Was there something during that time that just like kind of clicked for you, or is there somebody that kind of influenced that feeling of just wanting to change the way that you interacted with women?
I don't think there was any one person. I mean, I lived in a house with 4 women that I rented out rooms to that were kind of we were kind of a family unit, but it was they were all like strippers and service industry people.
Mm-hmm.
And I had started renting out rooms because I had women who needed a place to get away from an abusive boyfriend, and they had
Right.
nowhere to go. So I started giving spaces, and so it was a nice little safe place. And and I realized that this was a good place for people. And then post I but as I started watching all these things about men getting called out for their behavior, and I started to think about my own behavior, and I was like, what have I done that I would like wouldn't want to come up? What have I done that I wouldn't want to like have to face again? And I started going through it in my head, and I was like, there are a few things. And so that's when I decided to write the post to try to like hold myself accountable and like
Right.
let me list all of these things that I've done. And then that's when it blew up, because I was at the wrong point. I mean, me too. I was when the pendulum was swinging the hardest, and
Yes.
so any man saying, "Hey, I've done things that are wrong," was going to get attacked, no matter
Right.
what, and that's fair. And I don't blame anybody for it. I mean, it makes sense and everything, and I'm okay with it. I would do it all over again. But I did get thousands of death threats.
Oh
Not
no.
less death threats, more you should kill yourself threats.
No.
Yeah. Like
Don't ever, you guys don't ever do that.
and
That's
when
the
I
lowest.
oh yeah, I mean it was unfortunate, but then I got back to my house, and I had the people that lived with me saying, "Hey, do you want us to defend you? Do you want us to go online and say something, etc." And I was like, "No, because they're just going to attack you. They're going to say that you're too close, or that you're blinded, or
Right.
you're manipulated, or whatever." I was like, but they're like, "Well, we support you. Like, we wouldn't live here if it wasn't a place that we felt safe, and so being able to take solace in that, no, okay, well, maybe I out of, but basics. I've got, at least I've got the building blocks.
Yes.
I've built a safe place for people and they're safe and they're happy. Maybe it's how I need to interact with everyone. How do I take this and grow from that? So I think it was the people living in my house that kind of gave me maybe the motivation to take that example and then build on that.
Right. On your show, I feel like you do talk about this on your show. And also you give dating advice on
Yep.
your show. And do you so the dating world seems a little first of all, I'm poly and partnered. And just for anybody listening that gets confused by what I'm about to say, but I am on a dating app, just one. It's enough for me. It's the one where, I have to make the first move or whatever. But that's
Bumble.
also very annoying because like, okay, well, I made the first move, but then now I'm making like all the moves. That doesn't mean you don't talk at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so, some men are just lazy, but also there's even on Bumble, there's going to be a lot of shitty men. Not your goal on a dating app is to screen out 98% of the people you're talking to. Like, is
Yeah.
to have that immediate red flag that as soon as someone replies with a "Hey, beautiful," "Hey, sexy" as their first message,
Yeah.
or immediately tries to turn the conversation to sex or coming over, or doesn't respect your boundaries, and you're like, "Hey, I need to get to know you before I think I want to be safe with you," or anything like that. Those are all red flags. You just immediately cut them out. And so
Right. You don't sew them into a blanket and wrap it
yes,
around. Yes.
it's like, yeah, you don't add them to your collection, put them in little pots around your house, and say, "Look at all
Turn
my
it
red
into a
flags."
bikini.
Yeah,
No.
exactly. Yeah. Um, and so I do think that men who don't carry the conversation or don't try to actually have a conversation with you probably they swiped right on everybody, and whoever they matched with, they're just kind of casually chatting, but they're not interested. And so
It's
if
so funny.
if they don't carry the conversation, I would just unmatch them. They're just not
Right.
worth the effort,
They're not at all. It's boring. That's my number one rule. Like, don't bore me. Actually, a friend of ours matched with me and I was like, did you just match with me? And he was like, I swipe right on everybody.
See, when I see friends, I always swipe right because I'm always like, it's always kind of fun, and they're like, hey, look who I found on here, it's
Yeah.
it's
You're
always
gonna
kind of a
see
fun
them
little thing.
anyway, yeah, or
Yeah.
maybe, yeah.
Right. Exactly. So I know we've talked about this before. What are your swipe lefts? Do you have any specific swipe lefts that you like adhere to?
Well,
For you personally, and then also recommended. I think
for me personally, and anybody who's pro-Trump, anybody who's anti-vax, and is like proud. Anybody who puts pure blood in their fucking profile.
People put that in their profile?
Oh yeah, pure blood. They think
you guys get a different. I mean, I've heard that men get definitely a much different perspective and a much different engagement on dating apps. There's a lot of spammy stuff.
There's a lot of spam, and some of them are fake people. Some of them are actual sex workers who are trying to promote.
Right.
So there's a difference between the two, because I've actually ended up going on dates with some of the ones who are sex workers, who are trying to promote, and I've supported them, and we've actually ended up having a good conversation and gone on a date anyways.
Right.
But so yeah, you have to look out for scams. You have to look out for, I mean, people who don't put any profile, like any content at all. I'm like, it's just not worth it. But I'm also, so right now I'm in Utah, and I think I was when we talked last, but I think I had just gotten here. So now I've been dating here for a little bit, and I'm going to be here till June. It's fucking weird. Okay. So like in Utah, I found that there's 3 types of women.
Oh, goody.
There are the Mormon women, of course, who, they're obviously not someone I'm going to be interested in because I'm not Mormon. And so like, I mean, that right there, they don't drink.
Wearing the underwears.
They don't drink it. They've got their magical underwear. They they don't do anything fun.
Right.
And so then there's those women. Then there's the people who were Mormon but then left the church, and they are in their post-church crazy phase. Where they're
just slutting it up.
Well, they're having a great time sexually, which is fine. That I have no problem with that. But they're also impossible to try to get to commit to like going out, because they're constantly flaking, because they've never taught moderation. And this is gonna be a little bit of a story, but I found that Mormons have never been taught moderation. They've been just tried. The church tries to erase the information from ever being taught at all. So, for example, there's a thing called the Zion curtain in bars and restaurants that only got taken down about 10 years ago. And it was a literal curtain that went up in front of the liquor so that no drinks were allowed to be made in front of children. Okay.
Why are the children in the bar?
Well, usually even a restaurant that has.
Okay. I feel you.
So they had to make drinks behind a curtain so that nobody could know how the drinks were made. And then they have a whole movie and television section that actually cuts out all instances of drinking and drug use and everything like that out of movies and television. Just edits it out. So they don't have any exposure to it at all. And like I had a friend who left the church, and then her husband left the church, and she was out of town, and he had never drank, and he decided he was going to drink. And so he was like, I want to try this. So he went to the store, bought a bottle of vodka, came home, poured himself a glass like it was fucking milk, and just drank it. Because he just drank a glass of vodka like it was a glass of juice, because that's all he'd had in his entire life is juice and milk and water, and then nobody had ever told him how to drink or how to make a drink or how to mix a drink. So he just drank a fucking tall glass of vodka and was like, "This is terrible. Why does anybody do this?" And so I found that
he got through the whole glass though.
He did. He got pretty. Actually, I think he got pretty fucked up because he was like committed to it. He's like, I'm going to see why people do this.
So
there's this group of women that have never learned moderation in any capacity, and men. But the ones I'm potentially going on dates with, and so they are partying so hard that they are constantly shit-faced or constantly getting high. They're getting there's so many tattoo shops in Salt Lake City because I would say so many of them are going and like getting everything inked up as much as possible because they're rebelling as aggressively as possible, like they're going to college for the first time.
Like you in your 20s, just got free. Except
they're like they're in their like late 20s, 30s, and 40s.
Right.
And then there's the third group of women who did all of that and then had to go back to being sober again because they went so hard. They never learned to like, let me scale down. They're just like, I have to cut it all off completely. So like they're all three fucking weird to try to spend time with. Like, and they're all very different. And I'm just like, how about just someone who wants to go out and have a couple drinks and then have fun, and then and that's it. That's it. That's it. But no, those don't exist. Those
They
don't
don't
exist.
at all.
Not that I found.
Oh my
Oh wow.
And you can't even, I mean, I guess you can tell a little bit by their profile, but you just really don't.
Yeah, you get to talk to them a little bit, and it's usually like, oh, I don't drink. Oh, really? Are you Mormon? No, I just went too hard in my 20s. And then now I don't drink at all anymore. And it's been interesting, and it's so I haven't gone on many dates while I've been here. I've been very particular.
In fairness, we're not big drinkers either. I haven't had a drink in probably years, but I also smoke a lot of weed.
Right.
Yeah, and I like to have a couple of drinks, but it's too it's not worth it.
We're not like not going to places and like, you know what I'm saying? Like it just seems so awkward. I feel like it would be really awkward if you meet somebody that's so completely different that like as far as like you don't engage in anything like at all.
Right. And I'm like I like to go to like dive bars and do karaoke and stuff like that. And I go out maybe once a week, and I'll go out and have a couple drinks, and that'll be it. But like it's not an everyday thing. It's not even a weekly thing sometimes. But like I want somebody who's like, oh, let's go out, let's have a couple drinks, we'll do a round of shots, sing some songs, and it'll be fun. Like that's really the extent of what I'm looking for. It's very simple.
Yeah.
And
not accomplishable. It sounds simple.
Yeah.
But also it sounds like you're having a difficult time.
You say you're only going to stay in, you're only considering staying there for a certain amount of time, or you?
Oh, I'm leaving in the spring. I came out here to help. I had a terminally ill parent that I came out here to help caretake and cook and clean and everything for. And she passed away January 1st. My mother died January. And so now I'm here actually helping my dad learn how to be an actual independent adult in his 70s for the first time ever, and teaching him how to, microwave and use the dishwasher and use a washing machine, because he's never had to do this his entire adult life. Yeah. So make sure he's as independent as he can before I leave.
So I keep forgetting what this is called. But there are men in their 30s that also do not have these skills.
Weaponized incompetence.
That's it.
Yep.
That's it.
That's it. And I mean, my father's a great example of that, though. Like he could have learned these things years ago, and he just chose not to. I mean, I told him I made food for him, and it was in the fridge. I was out for the night, so I was like, go ahead and microwave it. Well, what do I put it in for, like 7 minutes? And I was like, what? No, Dad, no. You put it in for like 2 minutes, and then see if it's hot. And he just had no concept of, how do you not know how to use a fucking microwave?
First of all, is your microwave from the 70s or the 80s? Because then, yes, put it in for 7 minutes.
Yes. There's men in their 30s and even 20s that they purposely are incompetent because they don't want to they think household chores are beneath them because it's job or their nurse job.
And they babysit their children. So like that's like no, those are your kids. You're not babysitting. You're like
right. Exactly.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, it's not babysitting. Those are your fucking children. That's part of your job as a parent.
It's like they don't know. And then so then the bonus of that is now you have 3 kids.
Right.
I say send them back to their mothers.
Well, that's why those men will then get mad. They're like, well, she tricks you into marrying you, you have children, and then she like dumps you and divorces you and takes half your money. And you're like, yeah, because you were a child. Like she got sick of having a third child.
Right.
And that was it.
It's the part for me where they say, well, I bring home the money. Right. And that's their contribution to the household. Meanwhile, women in, just an average marriage with children are doing a majority of the household workload, a majority of the childcare, waking up throughout the night for feedings or nightmares or whatever, and going to bed late at night because chores have to be done and nobody else is doing them. Before I was engaged when I was 20. And I don't know, like we weren't taught to recognize this. We were just taught to do it. But I was dating this guy in my 20s and I loved him dearly. He was super dope dude. We got along really well. It was great. chemistry kind of died though, because literally he was working suddenly, like we bought a house together. We were getting married. He was working 7 days a week and I was cleaning his house 7 days a week. Like he would come home to relax and there was just like beer cans everywhere and like chip bags. And like one day I would just call my mom one day and I go, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
This is not the life for me. For me, I wasn't even this fabulous in my 20s. I had no idea what was about to happen, but I was like, this is not the life for me. I can't do this. I am tired. And my mom, are you having a breakdown? Like what? No. And I tried everything. I tried to, I tried to read I had like a low libido. I thought, no, I was just no longer in it,
Right.
but like I tried everything to make it work and it just didn't work. And then, what happened is, and I I don't feel regret about things in my life. I promised myself I would never do that. Cause I want to learn. But I feel bad, I guess, a little bit about this, but, I met somebody that like sparked and I was like, oh, it's not me. It was sudden to me that it was not me because I had mad attraction for this person. And I was like, what is happening right now? Because I had not felt that way in 6 months, like
Right.
at all.
Right.
I feel like men tend to forget that, like they're like, yeah, oh, you've just been a lazy slob, and your spouse or partner has just been taking care of you and treating you like a child, and all of a sudden you wonder why they don't want to have sex with you, because why would they want to fuck their kid?
Why would we want to do that?
Yeah,
right? And I didn't even have kids, and I was just like,
right.
Yeah.
And your thing with the household too is that most households are 2-income households anyway. So there's very few that now where the man is the breadwinner.
Right.
Both people are breadwinners. Both people are bringing in money, but it's still expected that the wife take care
do
of
everything, even though she's
working.
Working. Right. She's 24/7 working.
And men will be like, well, I do I mow the lawn and I whatever. Oh yeah. So yeah, well, that once every 2 weeks you spend a half hour. Oh, good for you. Let's pat yourself on the back for that. Yeah.
We can pay. I'll pay someone to do the lawn because I make the equal money, or more than you.
Yep.
Exactly. Well, like even women that stay at home, like literally think about how much work. Like I just think that they think miraculously their house is clean because they grew up in a house that was miraculously clean all the time. Well, that's because your mama was doing it, and now you're married to a woman that does it, and you want to complain about like she's never putting herself together, she's always tired, she's gained weight. Like what? Fuck you. First of all,
basically, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, and these are things like it's so crazy because I've even like this person that I'm talking about. I'm like, yeah, he's a great guy, whatever. But I hurt his feelings because we ended up breaking up. And the attraction for the other person was super obvious, but I never like crossed over line. So we ended up splitting up and everything eventually, but he came over because he needed me to watch one of our dogs, and because he was going out of town. So he came over and he looked me straight in my face and he was like, have you gained weight? And I was like, bro, what?
Wow.
Like, no, but whatever. Like he was really trying to like stick it to me, you know what I'm saying? Because I hurt his feelings. So I mean, I wish him well. He was generally speaking a great guy, but yeah, it was just kind of crazy because that's how I felt. I actually, I tell this story all the time. I think it's kind of funny, but in that relationship, I said, I'm not going to wash any clothes that don't make it in the basket. I'm not going to do it. Like the basket's here, and he was a mechanic. I don't want to fucking touch that shit.
Right.
Basket's right here. Just fucking put it in there. Right. Yeah. And one morning he got out of the shower and he came in bedroom and he was like, I don't have any underwear. And I was like, did they make it in the basket? And he was like, I mean, they're right there. Yeah. Well, I mean, I said I wasn't washing any clothes that weren't in the basket.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and I never had that problem again. So I just say, anytime women protest and like go on strike, shit happens. So I say, strike it up, baby. If you can. Sometimes it's a dangerous situation, which is also scary.
True. I mean, I
Yeah.
think even better than that is to say I'm not washing anything that's not mine.
Yeah. Well, that's
You know.
actually, that's I don't live in a house where weaponized incompetence happens at
That's
all.
That's good.
My husband's mother taught him to clean the whole house, and he does clean. I would probably be the one that would be accused of it if anybody, because like I'm slow to vacuum.
Yeah.
I'll do it, but I'll do it in my time.
Like,
So
where's it at?
I don't deal with that, but we wash our clothes separately usually. You know, it's sometimes somebody will get thrown in the basket, whatever. But generally speaking, we do our own laundry, we do our own folding and putting away, and fuck that. Why don't we have a machine for that shit at this point?
I mean, I think they exist. They're really big and kind of.
We need to compact them. It's 2023. We should be
Who
living like
needs to fold everyone just needs a laundry chair. I feel like that's just, you just put all your clean
throw
laundry
it
on the
there.
chair. Nobody's gonna sit in. That's where all the clean laundry goes.
I have one.
Yeah.
I have one.
Yeah,
I also
yeah, I have one for sure. The laundry.
So it's a clothes valet. Okay.
Yes, there we go. There we go. Very nice. Very nice.
It's a very casual one.
My mother-in-law one time told me that I should enjoy doing the dishes. She told me that one time. She said you have to do them anyway.
Dog.
So you may as well enjoy it. And I said, I don't.
Yeah.
No.
I don't think I will.
Yeah.
Right. No.
Yeah.
I don't think I will. So we know like the common, like, you know, no Trumpers, no, but is there something that makes you swipe left that's kind of like, I don't know, not one of those obvious I can't be in a relationship with a person that does this or has this in their profile?
I haven't. I mean, I would say that if they don't even bother to put any type of bio, then that's obviously something. I would say that if, you know, when I see someone who is understandably angry with dating apps and how like it like, but like her entire bio is a rant.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know, take that's not going to turn anybody on, and
right.
Anybody who's the problem isn't going to care about that. They're probably going to get entertained by your rant. So instead, maybe put the effort into, you know, just talking about who you are and what you like, and just, you know, try to screw on that. But no, I wouldn't say there's any huge. I mean, I tend to, you know, have more of a focus on what women might see that they should swipe left on immediately.
That was my next question.
So, yeah, I mean, those are, you know, those are easier because those are going to be. I mean, I think men who haven't even put the effort into trying to take a decent picture.
If you got sunglasses on and I can't see your face, if there's not more than one picture,
right? Just like take the effort, guys, to put. It's not gay to take photos of yourself. Like it's another thing, you know. But that's just a sign that they, you know, they're not like. I just think they're probably not someone who's going to put any effort in if they're not even willing to take a good picture for their profile. The sunglasses, yeah, and I've seen that with women too, where they all have sunglasses or they all have like Snapchat filters on. And that always frustrates me. I'm always just like, I don't immediately swipe left, but I'm like, just take a picture of yourself. Like, do you not like yourself enough that you have to use filters the whole time?
Right.
Don't do group photos. Anyway, group photos or gym photos or whatever. It's like
fish photos,
of course. You know, now I have a theory on that. I think that what it is men like this, they don't take photos of themselves. They're not a selfie person ever. And so the only time that they have photos taken of them or when it's something they're really proud of, when they just bought a truck, when they just caught a fish or just hunted a deer or whatever, or when they're at a wedding or at a big party with a group of friends and there's a woman who wants to take a photo of everybody. And so those are the only times that they actually have any photos of themselves at all.
Right.
And so that's what they use rather than trying to take new photos. And
you're describing somebody I know intimately, but I don't believe they're on a dating app at all because no.
And then anybody who tries to like, you know, if their profile is a list of things that you need to be,
right,
or a list of or in any way is trying to dictate or control what a woman's like,
Yes.
then that's immediately going to be a left swipe.
Or
Like
what you can't be, what you should be, or what you can't be.
right.
Yeah.
Or anybody who you can tell is bitter, like I'm 5'10", if that matters, or I guess
Yeah.
that matters, or whatever. You're like, that person's got persecution complex.
I was
They're
going to
gonna
say, are there subtle words that we should look for that you wouldn't necessarily like at first glance think that that's a negative thing, but then when you see it, like if that matters.
Yeah, I would say, yeah,
Right,
that type
yeah.
of thing. Any type of, I mean, honestly, anything that's related to anybody that says any man, I would say in this current time who says I'm not really into politics. Like I think can't we all just get along? I see both sides. Anybody who is ambivalent about bodily autonomy and women's rights right now
Yeah.
is not actually, you can't be I see both sides right now. This isn't a place because of the stakes that there are. And so
Right.
anybody who I think says that or says they're libertarian or any of that bullshit, I think is just is a completely red flag. And they're
Right.
almost worse than the guys that are like go Trump because they're subtler about it. And so you have to watch out for that.
Yeah, I agree with that 1000%. Yeah.
Anybody who says anything about modern feminism or third wave feminism or whatever, like anything who's like tries to show that they're enlightened, but also at the same time is kind of sarcastic about it.
Yeah.
They're going to gaslight you. They're not, they're not worthwhile as well. And of course, I think anybody with an American flag on their photo is probably absolutely
absolutely
no.
not.
Yeah.
I've seen a couple with the other flag in their photos, and I'm like, what are you? And then it'll say
the Confederate flag.
Yeah, and then it'll say,
well, the Nazi flag. I mean, you don't know anymore, so that's why I'm
yeah. It'll say, you missed a potential match. No, the fuck I didn't.
Didn't.
So I have some, just because my personal lifestyle ones for me, but a lot of those that you mentioned are also like they're red flags to like very toxic and violent behavior. A lot of times they'll like get really mad if you disagree with them, and they'll get like bubbly. And I mean, I talk about being on Dateline a lot, but like literally it's not how I want to do it.
right. I would say that, and that's actually, if you do match with somebody and you can't really tell, like you're not really sure, is this a good person or not?
Right.
Obviously you can ask questions. You can ask, do you wash your legs, in the shower?
How do you wash your body?
Well, yes.
This is going to be my next
your standards are.
Yeah. My next first question. How do you wash?
Right.
Tell me the order in which you wash your body in the shower.
Yes. And if you do get through a lot of that, and then you're in the process of actually maybe scheduling a time to meet up with them, one of the best things to try to test is to change one aspect of that. So if they say, let's meet up at this place at this time, reply back and say, okay, that would work, except I don't really like that place. Can we go here instead?
Right.
It's a very small thing.
Mm-hmm.
And if they react negatively to that, if they act at all put out that you have any type of change to something that hasn't been set, so it's not like it's going to affect anybody's schedule or anything. It's just if
they have put out at all.
If they get put out at all that you're daring to change something, that's a huge red flag.
Even subtly, right? Like I mean, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I guess I really wanted to, whatever. Like that. Then that's something you have to really take it into consideration and really think: is this someone I really want to put myself at risk with? And of course, if they insist on trying to get your phone number immediately, trying to get you off the app immediately, and ignoring your safety concerns
or your WhatsApp.
Yeah, that's usually scammers too. The kick or WhatsApp. Yeah. Snapchat usually means you can get a picture of a dick while they're sitting on the toilet or whatever, which is always how they take dick pics, and I don't understand why that.
Why are you taking dick pic on the toilet? First of all,
yeah, that's it. It's like,
and second of all, consent is necessary, but dick pics are out. We need videos.
Yes,
we're like the moan in the background, like,
right?
Just consensually. Don't just send that shit randomly.
Yes, get permission. And so it is it's one of those things that if they try to push you off the app too quickly, if they ignore your safety concerns, that's another thing. If you say, well, I'd like to get to know you a little bit more before we meet for my safety, or if they want to pick you up and you say, no, I'll meet you there, and they laugh at that, then they're not someone that you want to spend time with because they're ignoring your boundaries.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Don't wrap around the red flag. Just don't wear it like a scarf or
Yes.
nothing like that. Just
Yes.
we're done with that. That
Yeah.
was so last year. Those things are like, I mean, I always look at things from a Dateline perspective. So I like the things that you mentioned are all like super safety precautions for me. And you're like, well, if they're not going to put a profile together, then they're not going to put the effort in. And I don't even think about how much effort they're going to put in. I think about, I can't see your fucking face.
True.
And I can't like identify you if something, like I always think that first of all, we all know men can't be trusted. # not all men. Okay. So that's the scary part of being a woman in a dating app world, where there are scammers and there are like these men who are really just kind of predators too sometimes.
There's that saying too that like, that when a white van is following you and you're walking down the street, you don't know who's in it. And
I stopped at a rest stop, which I don't do in the dark, but it was daytime. So I stopped at a rest stop and I saw this white van with like really janky like tint that was like rolling off of the back windows and stuff. And I just turned on Marco Polo. I was like, y'all, I'm not getting trafficked today. This is not happening.
I'm not getting traffic.
Look at this van. Look at this person behind me. Like, yeah, scary shit.
It's funny. I did match with somebody recently, and we've been chatting, and we might try to go out potentially. But as we've been talking, she apparently showed my picture to her roommate. Roommate's like, "Oh, I follow him on TikTok," and so then she's very excited about that, and she's talked about that. But then, then she actually messaged me. She goes, "I realized I don't know that it's actually you." Like we were texting and everything. We did move to text, but she's like, "Can you send me some proof? Like you could just be somebody just using this
Saying
guy's,
that, yeah.
And I was like, that's a really good point.
Valid point.
And so so I was like, well, you can message me through any of this, so message me on TikTok, and I'll reply. Then you'll know it's me.
Right.
But yeah, I was like, you can ask me to send you a specific picture or something if you want, like whatever. But like, and I was glad that she did that, and I wasn't offended by it. Right. That's the thing. Like, she said that, and I was like, that's an excellent point that I didn't even think of. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad that you asked. Like, that's important.
It's important that, first of all, what you do is important. I want to say that right off, because white men listen to white men. So
yeah,
it's really important what you do. But it's important also like how you behave, because we're not used to that, and we are used to like, oh, if you're put out, then we got to like people please to get out of here safely.
Right.
And I think a lot of times like men don't consider that maybe when they're approaching us, especially online. Like, it's such a valid question, is like, is this online personality actually talking to me right now?
Right.
Are you talking to me?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Just the non-reaction of that. Men don't get upset that because you could be the best guy on the planet, but how the fuck we supposed to know that?
Right.
Like, we don't know.
Yeah.
And men who get defensive about that are just telling on themselves. They're like that. I feel like that's a huge red flag.
Right. Nice guys don't get mad at boundaries.
At safety. Yeah.
Safety.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's not get into the whole nice guys thing.
Right. Well, I mean, we could, but we're getting close to we're getting close to the end, to the wrap up of the Wednesday show. I usually give the whole outline for the Wednesday show or the Monday show. And I apologize for not doing that. But yeah, I was, it was excuses, but yeah, the Wednesday shows usually goes a little longer. A little longer because we always run over on Mondays, but I think we did 2 hours and 15 minutes on Monday this past week.
Wow.
I know. We decided to make a shorter show on Monday and have only done it like twice.
Yeah, didn't.
We want to take something off our plate, and we doubled it instead.
Double down. But as I think we were doing this when you were on last time. We like to do would you rather, but before we do that, we're of course going to stop for a quick break to talk about Queen Kitty Seltzer. Pop this kitty, put it in your mouth. It is the best CBD seltzer on the market. It's a low dose CBD seltzer. We have it in Lemon Kiss, we have it in Bubble Gum Burst, and we have it in Nearly Naked as well. It tastes like water's supposed to taste, like water. It has no sugar, no sweeteners. There's no THC in this. It's just CBD. We do have all of our testing. Nothing is running hot. Pop this kitty, put it in your mouth. It will be the best water you have drank ever. You're going to love it. Pop, pop, fizz, fizz. No yak in the back. No yak in the back. It's not going to leave that weird thing on the back of your tongue. It's going to be very refreshing. I promise you. I would never lie to y'all. This show is also brought to you, as I said before, by CQ LLC. We are a cannabis compliance and education company. We are licensed by the state of Colorado to teach responsible vendor training. We have an online source where we're partnered with Green Flower Media, and we are working on a live event in Denver, Colorado. Stay tuned for that. 970-426-5985 if you need any training, compliance training, responsible vendor training, hands-on training. We do it all. So give us a call. And of course, resume rewrites. We'll help you out with that. Give us a call. If you want to stay in touch with the Cannabis Closet podcast, all you have to do is go to solo.to/cannabiscloset420. Has all of our links, all of our socials, all of the ways to get in touch with us and me and Queen Kitty. All of that stuff's in there. Come hang out with us in Discord. We have a Discord. We're building a community, and we usually do an after show in there. So we just hang out with some of our listeners on the after. If you can't catch us and you're hearing my voice, you can catch us later on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. Again, I want to apologize for past shows not being up. I had a little technical difficulty with one, and then I had so much traveling to do. Excuses, I know, but I will get them up this week. I promise you that. And then we didn't put the website up, but queenkittyseltzer.com. If you guys want merch, if you guys want drinks, we got them for you. We can't ship to 6 states. It's on the website, but check us out and check out our merch. It's fantastic and fantabulous. Woot. We have some upcoming events, which include my birthday, which is Sunday. Woot woot. I made it. Wow. I had no idea what was going to happen this way. 46.
Happy early birthday. That's what I just turned 46 in January.
Woo, so. Woo. We are the sexiest generation.
Oh, absolutely.
You know why? Because it was the whatever generation. That's why. So we, that's why we wear it on our face. Also, we're going to be at the Sesh Connect location to be announced later on March 26th. Stay tuned. Do we have the flyer for that on this?
It is.
Ooh. Let me just throw that up real quick. There's going to be a lot of vendors there. We're going to clean this up so you can see more of the information, but reach out to us if you're interested and you're in Denver and you want to go to this. We'll make sure you get that QR code and get the link to the tickets. Come check us out. We will be selling Queen Kitty Seltzer at the table and giving out samples as well. So yay us. Doing some shit around here. Let's go back to that. Okay. So the would you rather, here we go. We have a couple today.
All right.
We have a couple. Yep. Okay. This is gross. Okay. Let's start here. Would you rather, we'll leave the gross one for later. Would you rather give up eating all breads, carbs, gluten allergies don't exist. So giving up all breads, you could eat bread anytime you want. It's fantastic and amazing. Or give up receiving orgasmic oral sex. Bread or orgasms and oral.
I think I'd give up carbs. I'd give up bread probably. I could live. I mean, I live on mostly meat and cheese and mayonnaise right now. So I feel like it wouldn't be that hard to get rid of a few extra carbs in there too.
I don't know. I mean, okay, so
like I'm pastry like that, all kinds of like I don't know.
Yeah,
is that included? Like
it's okay. So here's the thing. I love bread.
But I also love
and I love receiving bread. Oral, but I mean I'm not in love with necessarily handing it out. You know what I'm saying? Or I guess mouthing it out. But I don't want to give up the orgasms either. So I guess bread's got to go. But oh my God, I love bread so much. I'm gonna eat some bread after this probably. I love orgasms. But also, is that for my entire life? Like in my 80s, am I still going to get orgasms like that? I hope so. Because if I gave up bread to have to give up orgasms later, I will be very upset.
No, I think it should be guaranteed. You still get to
lifelong.
have. Oh yeah, lifelong. Like,
well,
yeah,
I mean, adulthood long. Okay.
If you can't enjoy bread from here on, then yeah.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be horrible if you had to make that decision like when you became an adult and you've been able to eat bread your whole life? And then they give you a little bit of time to experience what the orgasms would be like too. And then they're like 21, make a decision. Okay. The next one that we have is I have to say that one for last because it's so gross. Would you rather wear pants that are slightly too small that kind of ride up into your spaces, or front and back spaces, so all of your spaces, or pants that are slightly too big and have to be pulled up every minute and make flapping noises when you walk? So it's like a old school Janko jeans.
Well, I'm a fat guy, so I already wear pants that have to be continuously pulled up anyways, just so they never fit properly. So that's just my daily life. And I wear pants as little as humanly possible. I mean, I'm sitting here with a shirt and then Donald Duck in it otherwise. So I appreciate that. Yeah. I mean, because just what's the point of wearing pants when you're home?
There's not one.
Yeah. So I would definitely. I mean, my life is the larger pants, so that's what I would go with.
Yeah,
you don't crave smaller pant wedge.
I just
like right up in your moose knuckle.
No, not at all. No, and I'm okay with I mean, my thighs already rub together when I walk and sound like if I were to wear corduroy pants, they would catch fire. Basically,
y'all stop! Y'all are turning me on right now.
Fire. And then it just like catches fire. Yeah, basically. So yeah, definitely
like fire.
Yeah.
Slightly larger. Everybody's saying slightly larger. I agree. I
agree.
First of all, I lived through the slightly smaller pants phase, and y'all are going to get yeast infection doing that. So don't do it. Just give it some air. And I know you can't do this in a would you rather because a would you rather is concrete. But in real life, you don't. They sell belts at Walmart. And so just go get one. And then it'll just or suspenders. Sexy. I like it. Or I also like option 3. Just don't fucking wear pants. As a matter of fact, I want y'all to know that I am for men in skirts and crop tops. Yeah. I'm for it. 1000%. I'm not going to body shame you. I don't give a fuck. I want to see it, especially if I just for the record, if we're intimate, I'm there. I want to see it. Like, yes, show me everything. That's how I feel about it. So anyways, that's too much information for y'all. You said no squished grapes. I agree with you.
Yep.
Also, I just want to say about grapes that raisins should still be banned. I don't think it's fair that they can hide and stuff. Okay. just on the subject of grapes.
Zero raisins.
No raisins
anywhere.
Okay. I don't even.
Not even in raisins.
Not even in the cookies. Okay. It's rude. Okay. This last one's really gross to me. It makes me kind of want to gag a little bit, but would you rather lick a pole on a subway or be licked by 5 random ass people on the subway? And we'll say the subway in New York, the one that we're all thinking of anyways, probably. He said, I'd wear a Queen Kitty crop top. Will you get the one with the titties and the cannabis leaves? Because if you wear, I want pictures. I'm just going to tell you, with your permission, we want to post them.
It's a good one. It's a good shirt.
You know what? And since we have Adam on, Adam, I will send you one. You can rock it for us.
Model a crop top for you.
It's got boobies with like little cannabis leaves on it.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And it's a queen kitty.
Well, this reminds me of the one of the weirdest experiences of my entire life was I was at a strip club in Cocoa Beach, and a friend of mine was dancing, and I was like, I'll buy a dance in the back I was trying to support her. So we go to the back, and she's like, you can touch me while we dance. I was like, yeah, but I know you. It's weird to touch you. I just want to like help support you, and I'll give you, $20 or whatever. She goes, no. We're doing this right. She goes, I'm gonna finally make you I want to make you squirm because you don't squirm ever. And I was like, yeah, nothing bothers me. So she started dancing and she put her knees on my shoulders and then held my head back. And she's like kind of like grinding on my head. And then she, without me realizing what she was about to do, she leans down and she licked my eyeball.
What the fuck? I thought you were gonna say your head, and I was like, what the fuck? I've licked some random person. Anyways, we'll talk about it later.
So she licked my eyeball, and so having my eyeball licked by someone I even knew was one of the weirdest fucking things ever.
Don't touch my eyeball.
Yeah,
it was close to my eyeball. That
she was kind of dancing around. She had her hair all like in my face or whatever like that, and so I wasn't really wasn't really expecting it at all. And she just licked my eyeball. So knowing how weird that was and what an odd experience that was, I
wipe left, bitch. No.
I think I would absolutely lick the pole in the subway.
Don't lick me. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to be licked. I think I would be okay licking the pole, whatever. It's a good way to build up a tolerance to germs, I think.
Mm-hmm. I one time very drunkenly licked a very hot guy in a bar that was known by people around me, and then later realized that he was my Muay Thai instructor. So
you didn't realize.
Yes, I had no idea. I was like, I am so sorry, because I was like, where do I know you from? What?
Wow.
It's like, when you figure it out, we'll have a good laugh about it. And I was like,
you've been in close quarters with him. It's fine.
Yeah, right. That's crazy though. Your eyeball. Did she tell you what it tasted like? Because I'm curious.
I don't think there was any taste. It was a quick little lick. I think it was just, she just, and then I like it. She was like, look, I made you squirm. And I was like, yeah, you fucking did,
Yeah, weird. That was not expected.
That was not expected.
I would have probably pushed her off of my shoulders and she would have ended up on her head and I would have freaked.
We would have had to call 911. Excuse me, I'm so sorry that I just pushed you across the room. But
she made me sit on my hands because she's like, I'm gonna make you freak out, but you're not allowed to she's like, you have to let me do whatever I want. I was like, all right.
No.
So yeah, but yeah, I think that definitely made me think I'll lick the subway pole.
Let me just say, close your eyes during lap dances, you guys. So gross. So if somebody licked my eyeball, I would never forgive them for that.
It was an experience. It was definitely an experience, but we were good friends and we still are now.
That's good. That's good.
Awesome.
They're still weird as fuck.
Adam, it has been a pleasure having you on again. We would absolutely invite you back a million times over. You're so much fun.
Anytime.
Tell us where we can find you.
You can find me at Adam Avitable on TikTok, which is you can see here on the video.
Screen name right there.
Yep. And then I'm also Avitable on, it's just my last name on Instagram and Twitter.
Okay. And I absolutely pronounced it wrong again. Did I?
That's okay.
Okay.
You're close. You were close enough.
Close enough. I'm going to get it right one day. I apologize. Okay. I hate when people fuck my name.
I'm used to it.
Yeah, me too. Farah Halisa here. So, you guys, thanks for rolling up and showing up as always. Be nice to yourself. Make sure you put your mask on before assisting others. You cannot pour from an empty cup. So take care of you.
You cannot take care of you. Cultivate love. Bring it to you. You deserve it.
And as always. Stay lifted.
Stay lifted.
Stay gifted. And we will see you on Monday. I have no idea what's going on, but we'll figure it out by then. So we'll talk to a few people. We'll see what happens. Thank you again, Adam, for being on. You guys follow Adam on TikTok. He has some like really great dating advice, really great red flag avoidance advice, and he also calls out the misogynists. It's great. It's a good time. Go follow him. You'll love it. You won't regret it. We'll see you next time. Follow us on all of our socials and tell your friends. 420 every Monday and Wednesday.